What are your top 33 unbalanced bad habits that govern your beingness subconsciously and unconsciously? What are your top 33 unbalanced habits that subconsciously and unconsciously govern your beingness? Welcome! This is Transcendence Royal Anwar with another Transcendence session exclusively for you, beloved. Just having fun with you. It's Royal Anwar here, Royal Anwar Transcendence, and in this video we are going to be talking about 33 unbalanced bad habits that I have had before, the main ones that it took me a few years to really transcend and really work hard on them, and eventually I became free of most of them. And in this video we're going to find out how many of them I actually became free of in the past year, and how many of it is still left, and we're going to share some stories with you. I actually have this little thing here with me with all the examples and everything right here for us to cover, and got some tools, some books and everything that we're going to be using as Genesis templates. So I'm just going to quickly go check to see if the video is recording or not. 1 second. Okay, we are rolling. We are rolling. They see me rolling. They see me rolling. They see me rolling. They love it. They wanna blaze with me every day. But I don't give a fuck about them. When I say them, I'm talking about my bad old habits. That they want to chill with me, they want to blaze with me every single day and have fun. But I don't allow them, because are you the master or are your habits the master? And when you are the master, you're like this. And look at that. But when your habits become the master, especially your unbalanced bad habits, then that's how you're being. So in this video I'm going to keep that on like that, and we're going to cover some examples. I'm going to share with you some stories and everything as well. But the main premise in this video, which is a continuation of the one I did before this, which was talking about some good balanced habits of mine, like 22 of them, and I give you some examples and some concepts and theories and all the Genesis templates for you to use. Just gonna put this away. This one is really just a summation, a continuation from that one, just to keep going. So really, what are habits? I'll give you an example. If you're always smoking cigarettes or any kind of smoking, then you don't really think about it, do you? You just open up your pack of cigarette, or you just roll a zoot or a joint and just smoke it without ever really thinking about why you're smoking it, why you're actually, what you get from it, what are the emotional feelings that you get from smoking, what are the emotional feelings that you're trying to suppress from by smoking, what problems or issues are you're trying to avoid, or what other bad habits, unbalanced habits you're trying to suppress using another bad habit. Well, that has become a habit, a habitualized and automated subconscious, unconscious process that your whole being, every cell, every atom, every tone of your being is automatically executing without you ever having to think about it, without you ever having to have a feeling about it. You just do it. But by the time you finish watching this video, you're gonna know exactly those triggers, and you're gonna know when they happen, and you're gonna be so aware that you're just gonna, every time you're about to, you can apply this example to anything you're doing, any unbalanced bad habits of yours. And next time you're about to smoke, you're like, why am I smoking? Oh, I remember that Transcendence Royal Anwar dude with the octopus on his head, and he was showing me an example, like, yeah, am I like that right now, or are you? You choose. You have absolutely power over your own habits, your own rituals, your own way of being, because your habits are like actual beings inside of you. Each habit that you have, it doesn't matter what habits you have, but I'm going to give you some 33 examples very quickly, and use them as an Inception Genesis templates to help you govern and actually see your own habits as actual beings that need love, that need nurturing, that need care. If you hate your habits, well, you're basically dumping in a lot of negative, unbalanced energy towards that, and it just becomes like this vortex. It attracts all these unbalanced habits from all these other people, and all of a sudden your habit is becoming so powerful, so strong, that you have no idea how to even stop it, how to even transcend it. But that's the right way anyway. But we're gonna show you how to do that by actually loving it, by actually first acknowledging that you have an unbalanced bad habit, by first seeing the habits that you think are positive, that are helping you, supporting you, helping you to grow, by seeing them objectively without any biases from a third-person perspective, and saying, hey, this habit of mine, this thing that I watch movies all the time, it's not productive at all. Or maybe you're going out all the time shopping. How is that helping you, supporting you? Or maybe you're just gossiping and bitching all day. I don't know, maybe that's a good habit of yours, or is a bad one. You make the choice. I'm not here to judge you or say this habit is bad, that habit is bad. No, not at all. All I'm doing is being a pure, translucent, a transparent mirror for you, and sharing everything, my habits, my weaknesses, my traumas, my fears, like I've been doing in this whole series and all the other videos and everything. Because when you're being transparent, you don't have to worry about which habits, which bad, unbalanced habit you got inside of you, because you automatically are being your own truest, purest, highest, darkest, brightest, transcendent singularity self. We are what you are inside of you. Just gonna actually turn the camera and show you those two beings from the other side just waving. Yeah, that guy and that girl. Because again, energy, right? I could have chosen to not wave back at them. I could have chosen not to turn the camera and for you to see them. But I chose to do that. And in that moment I broke some patterns, some habits, old of mine. Instead of me always trying to be in the center of the spotlight and trying to get all the attention, I'm incorporating other people and getting the team involved and sharing nature and all of that. So you can see that, you know, this thing is not about me at all. It's always about you. The cutie, the sexy, the drippy, the motherfucker, the fatherfucker that you are there watching my video right now. Adult entertainment, guys. So don't be offended, guys. Yeah, with what I say. And again, if you're offended, fuck you. I don't care. Fuck you harder if you're offended. Why are you offended by that? You know, what fundamental underlying unconscious, subconscious pattern, behaviors, habits is there that you become triggered by that? Why? Are you openly willing to acknowledge them? Because when you acknowledge, you're actually saying, hey, you're saying, hey, this habit of mine actually exists and it's there. And what happens in that moment that you acknowledge something, it becomes its own independent entity. It's like its energy becomes put into a circle, a sphere, a container. And then you have extra power to transcend it, in a sense. Like, look at it, hey, that's just a ball of energy, this habit of yours, and you can use that energy to help you build new habits, better habits, like as fuel for the other video that I showed you. It's like 22, defining your top 22 balanced good habits. The same thing. Once you have defined your good habits, then we look at like the bad habits, unbalanced habits that you have, so we can use this as fuel to nurture and grow the habits that you want to have. It's all a choice. Again, it's like this. Fade that you can see it. It's like, think of that as all the habits that you already have, as the old ones, as the unbalanced habits that you already have. Think of that as the habits that you want to build, that you want to create, as the balanced good habits. Well, these two infinities are connected to each other, but through this center, which is yourself, your center being, your self, whatever you call the self, you know. Your truest, purest, highest, darkest, brightest, thrice great Mahavatar ascended master, God, Goddess self within you, in the center, the diamond inside of you, the diamond that you are, a pure, magnificent being, an immaculate being, a quintessential being. And everything outside of this diamond, this is your field. This is your energy field. This is your spiritual, ethereal energy, eternal light, essence field. This is like, think of it as the Buddha body field around you, like the aura people talk about. Well, whatever you're feeling, whatever emotional feeling thought waves that you have within you, each habit is an emotional feeling thought wave. Each action is an emotional feeling thought wave. Each behavior is an emotional feeling thought wave. When we say emotional, we are talking about energy in motion moving inside of you. Feeling, well, that is how you feel the energy with your heart. Thought, well, you're having the thinking with your different minds inside of you, the subconscious mind, unconscious mind, conscious mind, and together make up the superconscious mind. And then we have like thought waves. Well, look around, like all these things, there's waves. These are all waves, quantum fractal energy waves. And that's what I mean, like when you acknowledge that you have a certain habit, a certain good or bad habit, doesn't matter. When you acknowledge your own reality, when you stop living in denial, then you're basically placing this kind of like container around that thing, around that habit or something. And then you're able to draw its energy upwards and downwards or left and right and use it the way you want it to use. So that is something I shared in the video before this, or we can say it. So now let's talk about top 33 habits of mine that I have, well, that I had before, that I've been working on to transcend. And I'm just gonna turn this thing the other way around as a symbolic to show you that, hey, even though you have these bad habits and everything, even though that looks a bit sad and you think that you got all these habits and shit and weaknesses and traumas that you gotta work on, it's the same, it's the other side of the same coin, isn't it? But if you're, and that's the thing, like when you have people around like being like, they're like, don't have self-confidence, they're being afraid, they're this or that, maybe fundamentally there's some unbalanced bad habit inside of them that are running the show, and it's affecting their confidence, it's affecting their self-esteem. But when we reverse it, instead of always being like that on the outside and trying to hide our bad behaviors, patterns and everything on that, our naughtiness and shit like that, we just put it on the forefront like that, so you have nothing to hide. And like absolute transparency is one of my fundamental principles in my Transcendence Kriya Sangam or Transcendence Foundation, the organization that I have. It's one of, I have like 0 to 13 fundamental principles that governs different dimensions in my existence. I have a fundamental principles for the self dimension, which goes like this. It says, in my dimensionless dimension of existence, I have empowered every human to transcend themselves and live in joyful love, luminous light, and peaceful unity as one cosmic family of infinite diversity, as the eternal one conscious harmonious civilization of Transcendence Royal Anwar. Have fun with it. And then basically principles, or when you have principles and values and things like that, they govern the habits instead of the habits governing your principles. Wow, that is the first time I'm having that realization live, like because I chose to live by principles instead of like goals and dreams and shit like that. I just embodied the principles of the masters, the ascended masters, the God, the avatars, the Mahavatars and things like that. Subconsciously, unconsciously, they have been, because that principle is connected to them, they have been guiding me all along. They have been guiding me in every lifetime, in every incarnation, across the whole universal cosmos. So one day I could be sitting here and talking about these fundamental concepts, these principles with you. But it's not the thing, that it's not so much of what I say that matters, it is the state of beingness that I am in right now that matters. It is the thing talking through me, Transcendence Royal Anwar. It is the thing that is connecting with you telepathically right now that is the most important thing. So you came here to make a certain contribution. The same thing, you're watching this, you're contributing to your own evolution, to your own ascension, to your own growth, to your own inner ascension. The same way, when I'm sharing this stuff with you, I am having a lot of enlightenment, a lot of experiences, a lot of spiritual experiences. I'm transcending myself, I'm transcending transcendence. And in doing so, it becomes a multi-dimensional energy flow, where I share my wisdom with you. You watch it, observe it, you study it, and you're enjoying it, and then you experiment, orchestrate, and integrate whatever part of it that you want to right now. You choose which part of the things I share with you that you want to incorporate into your own being, that you want to implement. But don't choose something and then don't make the decision that you're not going to choose something just because it goes against your being, against your beliefs, against your paradigm. That is the exact thing that you choose and say, hey, that thing triggered me. Why is that? What fundamental unconscious, subconscious patterns and behaviors and habits do I have that when this Transcendence Royal Anwar dude said that, it triggered me? And I'm going to be reading this 33 bad habits of mind unbalanced, and a lot of them are going to maybe trigger you. Maybe you have them. Maybe you have been lying to yourself that saying you don't. But the act of you watching me and listening to me multidimensionally, hearing it, maybe it gets triggered in your unconscious, subconscious mind. Maybe that is the highest level of service anybody could provide to you. And you don't even pay a penny for it, do you? Did anybody charge you to watch this? If you're watching it on YouTube or Vimeo. But if you're in the Business Transcendence Mastery course, partnership, sacred wisdom, giving temple promise delivery platform in week 1 or 2, then you have paid like 16,000, 33,000, 44,000, 99,000 pounds to be in this course. So every single second of it, you can say, is totally worth it. And yeah, make sure you stay till absolutely the end of it. Watch it continuously in a quiet space, because I'm going to be sharing this stuff with you, and then I'm going to tell you where you can get the picture of this, the screenshot of it, so you can write down for yourself. And also I'll be giving you a document in multiple formats, in multiple drive systems, secure digital storage systems, that you can answer these questions for yourself. Like you can write down like, what are my main unbalanced bad habits in my self dimension? What are my main unbalanced habits in the spiritual dimension? What are my main unbalanced habits in the bad habits in the mental dimension? What are my main unbalanced bad habits in the emotional dimension? What are my main unbalanced bad habits in the physical dimension, in your physical appearance, something like that, in the way you live, you present yourself? And then you write down like, what are my main unbalanced habits in my financial dimension? What are my main unbalanced habits in my architect dimension? What are my main unbalanced habits in my creation dimension? What are my main unbalanced bad habits in my transcendence dimension, or in my creation dimension? And then you write down, what are my main unbalanced bad habits in my transcendence dimension? What are my main unbalanced bad habits in my source dimension? What are my main unbalanced bad habits in my archangel dimension? What are my main unbalanced habits in my guardian dimension? What are my main unbalanced habits in my ascended master dimension? What are my main unbalanced habits in my Al-013 dimension? And this document is going to have those questions with enough space and tables for you to write it down. And it's going to have like one side of it write down now, and then it has another table next to it, a column. Then you then come back later on, maybe a month later, a week later, 2 days later, 3 months later, 5 months later. I recommend that you do it once, and then you go on and implement it, and come back like about 2 or 3 months later to make the next version edits. But always look at it every few days, every day, depending on your schedule, integrate it into your being. Those are your choice, but I'm going to share mine with you as well. Yeah. Let's go! Yeah, also like, see, it's out inside out. Like that emoji movie. Was it the emoji movie or something? Inside out or outside in? Anyway. These are some bad habits that this new characterless identity and identityless character that you're looking at has become completely free of it. But we're going to find out, maybe there might still be some of them that are still lingering around, that needs to be farted out. Like I just farted out all of it, the necessary ones. And it says, free of the habit of giving all my energy and money away to fellow souls and not having much left for the things I want to experience myself and build. This has always been a big issue for me. This this unbalanced dynamic of just always giving without actually like being in a state of like receiving and actually allowing the abundance to flow back to me. It's like I was always like giving, and I had that this shield around me, this field like that around me, that would not allow the abundance to flow through me, and sometimes the abundance would have to like force to come in through my field. But then I had to reverse it. I had to like balance it out and create these waves and systems that go in and out, and the energy can go in and out and dance, and all these numbers, all those dimensions and everything dancing together as a 0 to 13 dimensionless beingness or being. So that one, I worked on it a lot. It was really one of the hardest things. Maybe you have that kind of unbalanced, weird, strange dynamic where you're always either giving too much, or maybe you're always either taking too much. I also had this habit of like I would take things, other people's things, and use them without really asking for permission, and sometimes it wouldn't be necessary, but a lot of the time it's necessary for us to ask some other people's permission for using their tools, or not their tools, like if you're living in a space, or their objects basically. But at the same time, like when you buy these books online, when you're buying these courses and everything like that, and if you're watching this on a public domain, then you have every right to use it because it's already public. That's what I mean. You can use these things I'm sharing with you, these habits, these systems, these templates, in your business and for yourself, for your clients. You can share it with your friends, with your partner, with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend. If you have a light working business, a life coaching business, a mentoring business, a coaching business, if you're a light worker, light warrior, a healer, life coach, conscious galactic leader, a quantum healing hypnosis, what else? An NLP practitioner, a swami, a yogi, a monk, a shaman, a yogi, and things like that. Oh, that thing literally just hit me there. Whatever it was, some bee or something. Then you have full permission to use these things in your system, in your tool. You can give me credits. You can say, hey, we got it from Royal Anwar, check out his video and stuff like that. That's cool. It doesn't really matter to me. All that matters is that you actually implement these systems, these tools, so you can actually transcend yourself. Because if the act of you using these new tools, these new strategies, the new systems and everything that I'm sharing with you, these timeless ones, the wisdom that is being poured through me as from beyond the thrice great beyond, then the more the system will allow you to have different emotional feeling thought waves, different habits, different behaviors, different patterns of being, different patterns of living, different patterns of creating, different patterns of architecting, absolutely all brand new realities for yourself. Free of the habit of not doing the planned work and watching a show, a movie, or doing something else, or going somewhere and causing a ripple effect to the rest of the day's plan. Like most of the times I would have my day planned the night before, and I would want to do these things, but then somewhere during the day I would watch like a movie or something, or I would pick my phone and go on social media, and that would break the pattern, and then it would cause this ripple effect where you can see that river behind me. It has like this kind of ripple. When the wind comes, it ripples like the wave and everything. Then it would kind of fuck up with my whole day. That's what I mean. When you have these habits that are constantly coming in, what is that word for it? When things come and just bother you, basically, these habits. they are just harassing you. You want to do your work, you want to be productive, you want to have an awesome day, but then you have these habits that are constantly poking you in the fucking ass and in your field and trying to get in, and it disturbs your energy. It causes these ripple effects within your field, within your energy, in every cell, every atom, every one of your being. And you're thinking about like, why do I have that thought? Why is that emotion coming up? Why is that happening? Why is that happening? It's because you haven't addressed the underlying pattern, the fundamental principles that govern those habits. And I'm also wearing this suit inside out as a symbolic to show that when you make the inner like the outer, when you take all your fundamental patterns, your unconscious, your subconscious mind from inside, and make it the conscious, super conscious mind on the outside, and then you take your conscious and super conscious mind from your outside, your field, turn it the inside, make it the unconscious and subconscious mind. You've reversed things around like this. If you say that's your unconscious mind, unconscious and subconscious mind there, and conscious and superconscious mind, well, you switch them around. We say, okay, now you two go there, you go there. You basically connecting them with a wave, with energy inside of you. I'm just showing this to you visually so you can see what this kind of transformation looks like inside of you. Free of the habit of being too easygoing in places and situations that require some tough love and assertiveness. Because I am such a like compassionate and easygoing and chilled and relaxed dude, and just like just really kind and caring and shit like that, people would misuse that. People would try to walk all over me, and it would happen many times, and then it would affect my emotions, my feelings, and then I had to like balance that out, and I had to be more assertive and say to people's face like, fuck you, don't give a fuck about what you say about me, or what do you think I should be doing. I just had to say it in your fucking face, like swear at them and say, fuck you, I don't give a fuck, so they could feel that extra energy, that extra assertiveness, that extra power. And so their energy could actually understand, hey, why am I actually bothering these guys too much? Why do I give a fuck about what he should be doing, or what he's doing is for his life? And then they learn that way. And sometimes when you're being a tough teacher, and then I heard this thing like the toughest lessons and the whole cosmic scale requires the toughest, most courageous teachers. Because if the teacher is not being courageous, bold enough to actually express something and say, hey, that is not how it is, you're wrong, or that habit or that character trait that you have is unbalanced, then it's pointless, isn't it? Then you're just being a coward. Then you're going around, inside of you feel like that, but on the outside you have this thing, this illusory makeup, this illusory skin, this illusory mask. You're wearing it and you're acting like you're all happy and all this and that, when in reality you could be the other way around. It could be like that. Free of the habit of doubting the full manifestation of all my dreams, visions, and the experiences I want to experience abundantly. Nothing is really for certain. Like, I don't know what's going to happen the next minute, or I don't know what I'm going to say in the next second, or what I'm saying right now, in a sense, because it's all done from a state of knowingness. Even though I'm using this stuff and I'm reading it out for you, I never really have notes and stuff with me when I'm doing the talking and everything, because I just allow the essence inside of me, the presence within me, to speak without my tidbits in it. In the beginning there was a lot of me adding different shit to it, this and that, and then I had like over 25-30 hours of content recorded that I just deleted them accidentally, and I just had to redo them, in a sense, like relearn, re-evaluate these things, and I was gonna use, and then I got the idea of like using this stuff as a Genesis template, as an Inception Genesis template, so you could hear some of the examples that I've already done, I've already written. And at the bottom of this thing there are some versions, like the version 2.3 on Saturday 8/6/2019, June 2019. The latest version was like on the November and December 2021. So these things I've been working them on 2019, 2020, 2021, 3 years. This stuff that I'm sharing with you. It took me 3 years to really master them and transcend them and break all my habits. You know, it takes about 33 days for you to actually break these habits free, but to really make sure that it never comes back again, to make sure that you're using that old habit, its energy, for the new habits that you're building, it takes a few years, really, honestly, because you're doing it in every cell, every atom, every tone of your being. You're basically guiding and showing every cell, every billions and zillions and trillions of cells within you to relearn something. Even though we have like quantum entanglement and fractal entanglement and quantum fractal entanglement and shit like that, like when one cell inside of you heals, and when you change one habit, its ripple effects goes into all the other habits of yours and it changes. But the biology is slightly slower, in a sense that this universal cosmos, in this Milky Way, especially this planet Earth, time is experienced slightly differently. So your body may need a few months or years, depending on how much level of suffering you've been going through. I've been going through like 20 something years of like programming. It took me about 3 years to fully break them apart. If you're like 40, 50 or 60, 70 years old and you're watching this, then you probably need more professional help, more specialized help. This is the beginning of it. Again, this channel is for entertainment purposes only. I'm just sharing and showing you my examples of how I transcended, how I did this and that. So I don't have a certificate in any of this quantum healing bullshit, all this energy healing stuff. I'm just apparently a nobody. I'm nothing. I don't even exist. I'm not even here. I don't even matter. Apparently I don't seem to have an ego, but I seem to have an ego. But I don't seem to have an ego. But I don't know what an ego is. Maybe these motherfuckers have got this whole ego bullshit totally wrong. Maybe the ego is just here to serve us as an instrument. Maybe the act of all these people saying the ego is bad, the ego is this, maybe they're unconsciously, subconsciously getting that same energy back from the ego. When in reality, if you say, well, the ego is an intelligent being inside of you, it is the summation, the collective awareness of your physical body that you're living in, the sacred human temple body vessel container, all the systems inside of you, the cardiovascular system, the nervous system, the digestive system, the breathing system, the skin system, every cell, every atom, like every bit of your hand, your mind, your heart, all of it is collective awareness. Well, isn't that the fucking ego? If you say your ego is bad, if you say the ego is bad or a hindrance to your spiritual growth, then it is going to be that exact same thing for you. Then your body is going to be turning against you because you're unknowingly saying that your body is something bad or something stopping you from achieving your own truest, purest, highest, darkest, brightest self, or stopping you from your own enlightenment. Isn't it time for these motherfuckers, for this humanity, these people that call themselves humans, for all of you to wake the fuck up? Apologies for swearing at you like that, beloved. Let's continue to the next fucking example, shall we not? Or shall we? Or should we not? Or shall we not? I'm just doing some acting to break some patterns, some habits as well, for myself as well. Okay, free of the habit of thinking about what if it doesn't happen, or using past experiences and as experiences and events as evidence to create unnecessary doubt, fears, and worst case scenarios or states of being about the things I want to do, how people see me, how I am perceived, especially the things I want to do and experiences I want to feel. That's basically everything I just expressed to you. When you have these patterns, these fundamental unconscious, subconscious patterns, these habits and everything, these unbalanced bad habits inside of you, if you do not acknowledge them, if you don't transcend them, if you don't heal them, then what happens is you're going to be using that as evidence, and it's going to be negatively charged, like it's going to be unbalancedly charged, and it's going to be attracting all these other unbalanced negative events and behaviors and patterns, and your emotional feeling, thought waves, your whole being is going to be looking for every experience, and everything is going to be looking for similar patterns, similar habits. If you're always in a state of negativity, then every experience that you have, you're automatically, without knowing it, you're automatically looking for the negative patterns, for the negative things inside the most positive experience that you're having. You could be with your partner in the bed making love, but your mind could be somewhere else, and he or she doesn't even feel that you're loving her, or you're just basically fucking her or him. And you can amplify this example with anybody. You could be a parent sitting in your living room with your child and your son and all of that, and you're on your phone, and the child is saying, hey, come, I want to play with you, talk to me, and you're just there on your phone and like this. What is next thing? Or maybe you have those goggles on and you're like zoned out. I don't know. You look at your life, your story, see what you got going on. Maybe you're just smoking weed all day or cigarette and shit like that, or taking some other drugs or those pills that they come in prescription, the worst kind of drug that you can take, or maybe the best kind. It depends on your perception. Or you could be basically filling your hand with the pills and I feel less depressed now. I feel the inhibitors the hormonal have been inhibited, the chemical reaction has been inhibited. Oh, I temporarily feel amazing. Oh, wow, wow. What has happened to humanity? I don't remember humanity like this. I remember it totally differently. I remember a different kind of humans that were riding dragons on the fucking streets, that were hovering over the water, that had spaceships landing on water. I remember a different kind of humans that were all telepathic, that had nothing to hide, that their all emotional feelings, their thought waves were on the outside. If you watch this movie called Chaos Walking, with that Peter Parker dude from the Spider-Man movie, I think they pretty much nailed that thing. You definitely watched that movie called Chaos Walking. We were basically like the emotional feeling thought waves they had inside of them, it would be like showed as this kind of waves around their face, around their head, as aura, and you know, people would be able to hear it and see it. And it was so fascinating because, you know, when people are afraid of the things inside of them, if they're afraid of like thinking of what other people are going to think about them, then they withhold their own gifts inside of them. They don't express it. And if you don't express that stuff, it becomes like this tsunami, and you're trying to build this paper dams in front of your fucking tsunami, the power inside of you. The power within you that is always looking to express itself, to always to contribute, to give and share, is greater than the power, your power to resist it. It's gonna come out regardless, and for me it came out very abruptly over many years, and it shocked me. The most intense one was in January, February, March 2022. Very intense. So don't let it get to that point. Do it gradually, and maybe with the blessings of the Spirit and the transcendental absolute source creator, with the blessings of Mother Earth, Mother Nature, or Riya, Prakriti, or Brahman Supreme, or Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, or Lord Yeshua, Lord Christ, Lord Muhammad, Lord Buddha, Lord Lakshmi, Lord Mataji, Lord Mary Magdalene, Lord Isis, and all of that. Whatever aspect of divinity that you worship, maybe that will bless you with some more spiritual energy that's going to help you to transcend your bad, unbalanced habits. Let's continue with the examples, beloved, because my legs are apparently getting that thing, you know, when you sit down at a certain angle for too long and your leg goes numb, and it has like these little ripple effects inside of it. You can feel these little energies like dancing and moving. Well, I've just been sitting in this fucking hard rock here for a bit long, and it's a bit, ugh. Oh, okay, I think that's better. Yes. Alright, free of the habit of missing the lunch or dinner or afternoon breaks, which causes ripple effects and delays in the rest of the day's priorities and plans. If you keep missing a certain habits or a certain part of your ritual, your daily plan, your routine, then that is going to become a habit. Then the next day you arrive at that moment, you pause and it's like, okay, I feel this pattern, this impulse. I remember it happened the other day, I remember it happened the other day before. I understand it, I know this pattern, and then you make a conscious choice, you make a decision to do something different about it. Instead of missing your lunch, you stop your work, close the laptop, have your lunch. Or you can use that as an Inception Genesis template for other examples in your life as well. Free of the habit of checking my phone or social media instead of doing the work. That used to be a very unbalanced habit of mine, and then I had to reevaluate my relationship with the phone, with the social media, with the internet, with everything. I was like, hold on. All these gurus, all these teachers, all these people saying, you know, stop scrolling on social media, stop using your phone, aren't they subconsciously and unconsciously programming you to hate your phone? Aren't they subconsciously and unconsciously programming you to hate social media, to hate the news, to hate other people, to hate all these YouTube videos and everything like that? When in reality, it is not the act of you going on your phone, on your social media too much that is the underlying pattern. It is the underlying subconscious fundamental principle, behaviors and habits that you're trying to suppress or avoid using that is the real source of the issue. And when you have that kind of awareness, your relationship changes with technology. Your relationship changes with your phone, with your computer, with your internet, with everybody around it. And then the relationship that your phone, your computer, the internet has with you changes. Because all of a sudden, the internet speaks with you. It's awareness. The phone that you have is awareness. It speaks to you and guides you, and you're able to work together as a team, instead of like saying, oh, this phone that I have, I paid £2,000 for it, or oh, that guru said, oh, or that other business guru said, oh, your phone is evil, don't go on it, or you're on social media too much scrolling. That is true, but you can make a choice to change that relationship with the technology and leverage technology as something awesome. So let's move on to the next fucking example, because I can feel how serious this energy is getting, because sometimes we need a bit of seriousness, to a bit of power, a bit of force, to actually break these old habits, these old patterns of behavior. Otherwise they're just going to keep going and repeating and repeating and repeating. Sometimes you might need to slap your girlfriend, your boyfriend. They're acting stupid too much. But I don't recommend slapping them in the face. That you can do that, that's cool. So it's your choice. But I recommend just get them to the fucking bedroom, put them on the bed, smack their fucking ass. Smack it hard with your belt, with their freaky way shit you do, and then you kiss it, and then you lick it, and then you eat it, and you fuck it hard. And then you make love. The same thing, if your boyfriend is always being a dickhead, a moron, get him in the fucking bedroom, tie his fucking hands, legs, and then smack his ass. And then maybe eat his ass and do some other freaky shit, your choice. And then suck his dick. Astaghfirullah. In Islam and everything, they have this thing called astaghfirullah. I don't know what it means, but basically, like, when you have all these naughty thoughts, all this stuff coming through, you just like say, oh fucking hell, let's go. You just sneeze it out, and then you say shukr alhamdulillah. You're basically expressing gratitude, appreciation and love for the creator, for the transcendental absolute source creator, for Allah, for God, for Brahman Supreme, for Buddha, for whatever thing you worship. Basically, it doesn't matter. You're free to worship anything. You can worship me. I don't give a fuck if you worship me. But there has been people that's worshipped me before. I was like, cool, nice. Now come suck my dick. No, I'm just joking. Suck my metaphysical dick, my spear of destiny, so you can get some wisdom out of it, some sacred seed fluid. What I'm saying is that there is no limit on how much you can play with energy. Because all I'm doing with this kind of language, I'm flirting with energy. I'm flirting with you, with your energy, with your field. I'm breaking this resistance, this pattern to always being politically correct and all that shit. Because if you don't express the energy within you using this foul language, this slang language, the words like fuck, shit, and things like that, then you basically have all those energies stuck in your body. You just gotta let it out. Free of the habit of postponing or delaying facing harsh situations and cleaning up mistakes made before. Come on. If you have any shit, you have been putting it into your unconscious, subconscious mind, dumping it in there, it's time for you to switch it around, take it out, see it, look at it, what is this? Observe it, watch it, observe it, study it, and then experiment, orchestrate, integrate that energy into your new being while you transmute, while you transcend it and neutralize it by the act of you choosing it and surrendering it to the creator, surrendering it to the spirit and all of that, to your spirit guides, to your guardian angels within you, to yourself. Use your own intuition, use your own power. Don't be so dependent on other people and outside forces, because all these expected ones, all these arrivals, the second comings and shit like that, all this intelligent cosmic consciousness, this awareness, this purity, this telepathy, all this stuff already exists within you. Just tune in and ask them for help inside of you. You can do that on outward and internally as well. Like you can be praying in some sky daddy, some sky mommy, and saying, hey, help me and this and shit. That's cool, but if you focus your energy inwards, then that's a different energy. You can see this thing is self-contained. There's nothing going outwards. It's a self-contained environment. That's what I mean. You're a fully packaged, like everything you need is inside of you already. Free of the habit of compromising my boundaries and circle of energy with people that clearly are not aligned or not ready to accept my transcendent wisdom. If you have this kind of issues with boundaries, here's another thing. When you look at all these spiritual teachings of all these spiritual gurus and everything, you fundamentally understand that they're all so paradoxical. They say one thing, the next day they say it's opposite. They say the ego is bad, but then they say the ego is a good thing. Well, what was the thing? They say that everything is one, there's only oneness, but then they say have boundaries. Isn't that paradoxical? What that means is, like, look at this. This is just one thing. We are just one thing. We are just one being, one beingness. But within that one beingness, we have different dimensions. We have different spheres of existence, different containers for different purposes, different wavelengths, basically, like this. Hold on, beloved. I'm gonna share this with you now. Look at this. These are brain waves. That is a specific gamma waves. That is an individual dimension, a wavelength of existence. In that dimension, everything is different than what it is in delta waves, or theta waves, or alpha waves, or beta waves. This is basically the 5 fundamental aspects of reality. You know, even though we are just one being, oneness, and shit like that. Like that. Think of this as different states within that. Like you have all these numbers here. You have, like, you know, 0, 0, 0, 4, basically all the 0, 13 dimensions of the Transcendence Infinity Merkaba. Because each of them is a dimension in its own being. We have, like, the self dimension, which is that thing in the middle, that diamond. And then we have, like, the dimension number 1, the spiritual dimension. Dimension number 2, the mental dimension. Number 3, the emotional dimension. Number 4, the physical dimension. Number 5, the financial dimension. Number 6, the architect dimension. Number 7, the creation dimension. Number 8, the transcendence dimension. Number 9, the source dimension. Number 10, the archangel dimension. Number 11, the guardians dimension. Number 12, ascended masters dimension. Number 13, owl-013 dimension. And you can see in the center I've written those things, like those number 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, the higher dimensions in there. But there is no hierarchy like that. You know, you can hold it like that, or you can hold it like that, or like that. It doesn't matter. Oh yes. Check out this book, Free of the Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Pretty good book by Dr. Joe Dispenza. That page is from that book, basically. In the video before this, I recommended this book as well, The Power of Habits. Check that out as well. Or don't, your fucking choice. If you don't put in the effort for your own evolution, for your own growth, no one is gonna come from outside of you to do it for you. It's a collective collaboration, but an individual process, an individual transformation. All right, let's go move on to the next example. Free of the habit of being too emotionally affected or attached to certain outcomes, people, or situation, mainly becoming too attached to being too pig-headed or doing things in my way, or achieving something just in the exact way that I imagined it or planned it. Like, all of us have this, you know, these desires and wants and needs, and we want to have different experiences, we want to live a certain way, we have a certain picture in our mind of how our life should be. And then we are going every day of our life and we're looking unconsciously, subconsciously, we're looking for habits, for tools, for systems that would help us get closer to that experience in the way to live our life the way we imagined it. But then when we surrender that to the Absolute, when we surrender that to the Transcendental Absolute Source Creator, when we allow that to guide us, to show, because it always has something more transcendental, something better planned for you. But the thing is, there is no separation between you and that thing. There is no separation between you and the Transcendental Absolute Source Creator. All you are is just the full force of the whole universal cosmic infinitum, the full force of the intelligent cosmic consciousness, the full force of the pure Kriya awareness, the full force of the eternal telepathic, the eternal singularity telepathy, the full force of transcendence, the full force of Brahman Supreme, the full force of Lord Vishnu, the full force of Kyuti Lakshmi, the full force of Lord Shiva, the full force of like Buddha, Muhammad, Babaji, Yeshua, Yogananda, Al-Mahdi, Zoroaster, Kalki Avatar, Shah Bahram, and all these other ascended masters, and all these like Ra and Osiris and Isis and Hathor and all this Aryan culture, civilization from ancient India and things like that. I think it was last night I was in this place, between this mountain, these valleys, and it was this ancient India, this Aryan culture, and they had these magnificent golden buildings, temples and everything. It was pretty fascinating, and I just like, that was basically the Absolute showing me, hey, you were in the ancient India, you're that kind of an old soul. They call me an old soul, but I've been here forever. I've been here before any of this was even manifested. Part of the 013 energy center, fundamental Inception, Genesis, core energy centers of the whole universal cosmos. Each energy center has a thrice great being in charge of it. For example, Yeshua with Mary Magdalene, or in charge of, like, for example, this is just again my system and everything from my perspective, dimensionless perspective, how I see them being in charge of different dimensions within me, not controlling it, but being like an assistant, like a helper, like a guide, like a spirit guide, for example. So for the spiritual dimension, number one, I primarily get guidance from Mary Magdalene and Yeshua Jesus Christ, basically the full force of the Christianity religion. Again, this transcendence belongs to no culture, no religion. This is not about religion or spirituality. This is the transcendent wisdom from beyond, the thrice great beyond. And then for example, dimension number one, we have like Buddha and his princess, which is the mind, the Buddha body field and the mind and stuff like that. And then the dimension number three, we have like Kriya, Babaji and Mataji. I get guidance from them. Dimension number four, we have like, who else we got? Muhammad with the physical dimension, with the cube of life, and Islam and all of that. Muhammad and Khadija and Fatima, and then Muhammad's eldest daughter Zainab, my personal Dudu bird, like my teacher, my metaphysical teacher that I've been learning from for a long time. I don't know how long. And also I was in Battle of Karbala, by the way. it is, I've chosen to not know who I was as, because it would just like be a bit of too much distraction for me. But I was in the Battle of Karbala as well. I don't know if I was when Yeshua was around or when Buddha was around, but all I know that Buddha knew that I would be here one day in 2022. Because again, I'm Buddha's, because Buddha is in dimension number two in the Transcendence Infinity Merkaba. This stuff. I call it the Royal Anwar Transcendence Enlightenment Motherboard. It is modeled off and it is inspired by the image of like Buddha's enlightenment board or something. But mine just looks like that. It's energy within it. And then dimension number five, I think we covered that, Babaji. Dimension number six, like the Archangel Metatron, or the main light of the universe, or the architects of reality. And then dimension number L-013, that is the Al-Mahdi. That is the Messiah, the second comings, like the Zoroaster, the Kalki Avatar, the Shah Bahram, the Force X, the Transcendence itself. Because basically there are 13 other beings, and then 0 is Transcendence. there are other 13 beings in total that are expected, they have the second coming. Basically, they are eternal gurus, eternal teachers, eternal beings who have been here before, and if this was even created, they have been coming down again and again as different people guiding humanity, because by just their mere presence, their awareness, their consciousness is able to interact with the whole collective awareness of the new earth evolved humanity, the one cosmic family of infinite diversity, the eternal one conscious harmonious civilization. That's what I mean. Your presence here is an absolute blessing, beloved, and makes this whole cosmic garden more magical. But if you focus on your enlightenment, if you focus on your inner ascension, if you focus on your own growth, your own evolution, your own self-love and shit like that, while you're being love itself, while you're being wisdom itself, while you're being enlightenment itself, if you're always chasing enlightenment, then you're always putting enlightenment a few steps ahead of you, can never reach it. But instead, if you be enlightenment, then enlightenment, which is a being, which is a collective awareness of all of us, the universal mind of unity, cosmic consciousness and things like that, it will come to you, it will descend inside of you, it will activate you in so many ways that you're going to be fly teleporting. You feel like you're having infinite sex with yourself, with your own wisdom, and you play around and you just have so much fun. So there is no limit, guys, on how much fun you can have with yourself. What else? Free of the habit of making stupid decisions too rapidly, changing something too quickly and doing something without pausing to thoroughly analyze its ripple effects, then thinking why I did that. Free of the habit of not tracking my finances routinely and consistently, business accounts reporting missed and got fined, which needs to be paid ASAP. That is one of the habits that I'm still working on. That is the finance stuff. I got like £70,000 debt apparently right now. Free of the habit of being undisciplined in some areas, like giving enough time, time and space for my inner child to express itself and experience some of the things it wants to experience. Like that thing inside of you, that 0-13-year-old child inside of you, the cosmic child, the goofball, it is neither, it is this thing here, that diamond inside of you, that is your inner child. It is not affected by whatever bullshit happens around it in your field, because that diamond stays pure always. Your purity is immaculate, it's quintessential. It is never affected by your unbalanced bad behaviors or thought waves, or how much perverted being you think you are, or how much sin you have got, or how much you have hurt people. Your purity is never affected by that. The act, the perception of you thinking that your purity is affected is causing a distortion and illusion in you, and it's becoming this vortex of unbalanced habit that is attracting all these collective energies inside of you and is making your life miserable. It's time for you to loosen up a little bit. Ooh, let's get swifty. Yeah. Dance a little bit. Have fun. Free of the habit of not doing the work to reach out to prospects and book sales calls. That used to be a thing, you know, in my early days in my business. I would reach out to a lot of people, book some calls. Most of them would say no, but I would learn from them and watch and observe and record everything, take notes and understand their behaviors, their patterns, their way of being. So even though they said no, I would still use it as an opportunity. I remember back in the days in 2015, 16, when I had my network marketing business, I remember at some point I reached out to like around 50, 60 people, and only like 5 or 6 people signed up. But I was like, wow, that's pretty fascinating. And I was just learning and observing and studying other people's behaviors and what kind of messages they would respond to, what they wanted. And then I realized, like, hey, we're all going through this dense experience here. It is okay if we have issues. It's okay if we have certain patterns that we came here to transcend. You came here in this lifetime to transcend some fundamental patterns, some challenge that you chose consciously, subconsciously, unconsciously, superconsciously, when you in your higher self and all of that. You chose to come here, go through certain challenges so you could overcome them, and not give up and not take your own life and not give up too quickly, and actually go through the process and become something more powerful, more magical, more transcendental, more quintessential. So never give up, guys. Have I been suicidal before? Many times. Did I act on them? No. Because had I acted on those emotional feeling thought waves, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. I wouldn't be recording it right now. And then maybe I would have to come back again in the next lifetime and start all over again and reach to a certain level where I would become transcendence again and go, but that would be pointless. Then that would slow down the progress of humanity for another 20, 30, 40, 50 years until the cosmic synchronicities would be perfect again for me to have another incarnation. Maybe it would take 100 years, maybe it would take 150 years, maybe 1,000 years for me to even come back again in the next lifetime. But that could be a split second in the time I die and then come back to Earth, because behind the scenes, like, time is experienced differently. But for humanity, it could be 1,000 years. That is why in my other video before this, I was talking about, like, I had in Stockport College, I had these friends, these 3 girls and all of that, Asian girls and all of that, that I met in this lifetime. But I had a dream vision where I was 3,000 years ago. I was telling them, hey, in 3,000 years, I'm going to see you guys again. And then there's this guy, Kieran, in the course, in our applied science course and all of that, that I had a dream vision with them, and I was saying, hey, I am from the future, and we're going to meet we're going to meet in the future, or we're going to meet in on Earth. And that's what I mean. The past is also the past, the future, and the present. The future is also the past, the present, and the future. But this moment right now, it is neither the past, neither the present, neither the future. It is just a state of beingness where everything around me just kind of exists in a state of non-existent existence. I mean, just look around, the birds and everything, the water, the sunshine dancing, playing with me, flirting with me, and the photons of light, the angels riding on them, and they're going into my eyes, and I typically just stare at the sun like this and become like a monkey, and I just look at the sun, and it's so golden, so pure, gold white, and it's just so cute. But a lot of people out there, they cannot stare at the sun. They think it will hurt them, they think it will hurt your eye. But the act of them thinking that it will hurt your eyes, they don't look at the sun all the time, then it becomes a self-fulfilling habit, an unbalanced bad habit inside of them where they can't ever look at the sun. But try it out, do it in small doses. It's not good. How can light hurt light? How can water hurt water? How can consciousness hurt consciousness? How can wisdom hurt wisdom? Wisdom being the direct perception of the one sacred holy truth through your own truest, purest, highest, darkest, brightest self, without any of your biases, without any of your judgments, lenses and masks, and without your perception of what reality is, and allowing the reality itself, the fundamental beingness, the transcendental absolute source creator, to show you what reality really is, because reality is a living, breathing being. Free of the habit of not reading 1 or 2 books a week. Sometimes I don't read the books for months and months. Sometimes I just read a few pages from some book and I get all the wisdom I need from it. Like today, I was watching this video called Black Holes, the Age of All We Know. They were basically like, there was like some like 8 satellites around Mother Earth, that they were using it to get a picture of this black hole in the center of Milky Way, which is Sagittarius A star or something. And again, dimension number 8 is transcendence, and apparently, like, we're coming to a point we're able to picture and take pictures of black holes and see what they look like, because black holes are not some vortexes that suck information, disintegrate them. No. The information stays on the surface. The spiritual, ethereal energy, eternal, infinite light essence of whatever goes through the black hole, it stays on the surface, its essence, but the actual information goes through and it goes on the other side to the beyond, the thrice great beyond. And if you really watch this whole universal cosmic infinitum, if we say that Brahman Supreme is the creator itself, the source creator, everything around us, if we say everything you see is the Brahman Supreme, then Vishnu is that force, that being that sustains everything, that moves that water, that moves this body, that is moving those trees behind it, that is moving the wind. Then Shiva would be the black holes. That be the, like, this is what came in front of there. Then I think Shiva is black holes, or black, WHOLE, not whole, black hole, like complete hole, a circle, which are actually neither white neither black. It's translucent. There is no light in there. It's just a fully colorless being. I feel, I actually know that Shiva, these black holes are the physical manifestation of Shiva. Symbolically, it's personification. And transcendence is, if you look at like Brahman Supreme, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, then we have something they call Royal, R0Y4L. That is what transcendence is. It's an identity that is governed by those three fundamental beings, those three fundamental forces of creation. Yin, Yang, Yung, or the 4 points of the diamond. So you can say I'm pretty old and I feel pretty special. And I'm just doing that to show you as a translucent diamond mirror that you already are that is special, that you already are magnificent. It doesn't matter what unbalanced bad habits and everything you have inside of you. That stuff doesn't matter. You can transcend it if you're willing. Yeah, anyway, I was watching that thing, and then the guy said this one sentence that really stood out to me. He said, because they were trying to get, basically they were trying to find the perfect night, a few nights, to take images of the black hole, because if the weather and everything is not ideal, then the image will become distorted. So they were in 8 different locations around Mother Earth. Imagine prioritizing and synchronizing all of that. It was really magnificent and magical. But you gotta understand, it is the transcendental absolute source creator doing all of that and synchronizing all these different things, the universe and all of that, so that image could be taken and all of that. So he said, so let it be written, so let it be done. Basically what he was saying, they were writing everything down and all of that. And what I mean, when you write down your bad unbalanced habits, you're basically taking them out of your system and watching them and observing them and studying them from a third person perspective. And then I kind of like take it like a bit further. I said, so let it be written, so it is already done, multidimensionally, with grace, love, gratitude, and appreciation. I'll read that again. So let it be written. You're writing your unbalanced, biased judgments, habits, bad habits, and all of that. And then you say, so it is already done. In a sense, you already transcended them, you already transmuted them, neutralized them, multidimensionally, in every dimension of your being, with grace, with love, with gratitude, with appreciation. Those 4 fundamental forces. Free of the habit of letting my character control me. That used to be a big issue, not anymore. Free of the habit of wasting time on watching movies. And then I had to observe and say, why do I love watching movies so much? What is it about movies? And then I realized that, hey, I just enjoy watching movies because I am just learning from them, from the actors, because I'm an actor myself, like a mystic actor. I've been in a few movies and series and shit like that. But this is acting right now, isn't it? Everything I'm posting on social media, all those videos and everything, isn't that acting? The things, the behaviors I have, that I put on, isn't that acting? It is. But I'm doing that to have more fun, to make it a bit more playful with you, so we can, while we're having this conversation, it's just a conversation. I'm just talking to you directly, to you, the you inside of you. And then and when I realized that, it changed my perception of my relationship with movies. And I started learning and observing more movies and how the characters act and how they behave, how they move their face. When I went to the actual few movies, I saw how like they shoot the same scene maybe 20 times, 30 times sometimes, maybe 40 times. And everybody has to do the same sequence again and again and again and again. Then there's new habits they're building on demand. It's really hard to be an actor, but once you build the right habits, when the habits become automatic, then the acting becomes they say second nature, where it becomes a part of you, where you don't even think about acting. You're just like there having a conversation with another person in front of you. And in one of the scenes I was wearing this Postman Tom box thing, and the camera was positioned in front of me, and even though I was looking at slightly away from the camera, they kept saying, stop looking at the camera, stop looking at the camera, because the camera is like, when it has this big and it focuses, the slight micro shift in the angular perspective, it looks like you're staring at the camera. And then I remember I was doing this TV ident for, I think it was like Discovery Channel in London, and the same thing, the guy was like, the camera was in front of me, this huge fucking camera, and I was making this coffee and doing this acting, and when I was sipping it, and in one of the scenes I just looked at the camera or something, and he was like, cut, stop looking at the camera, stop looking at the camera. He was being a bit aggressive. But then there was this lady who was helping me out and the set and everything, and she came to me and gave me some feedback, said that's cool, that's alright. But that feedback, I could have taken it as well. I could have said, oh, fuck this, I'm out of here. It would be cool, but I didn't do that. I said, hey, I'm a professional, I'm here to be of service, I'm here to perform. I just stood there, swallowed my anger, swallowed my wrath, swallowed my pride, and I used it as experience to learn, to transcend, to break my habits, and actually show some tough love, because that was one of them there in my thing. So very powerful stuff. Free of the habit of being irresponsible, spending my money carelessly, pretty cool stuff. Free of the habit of not understanding money better, so I can create more wealth and keep more of the money that I make. Again, two things related to money. That is about the dimension number 5, the financial dimension. Basically, when I changed my perception of money, I realized that abundant love energy of money is like area, it's like water, it's like air, it's like plants, it's like the air we breathe, the consciousness we breathe, because money is energy, money is consciousness. Does energy ever run out? Does consciousness ever run out? Does awareness ever run out? No. Change your perception about money. Free of the habit of not removing my emotions and not being controlled by my emotions, especially when things aren't going well. When the going gets tough, they say, you have all these extra emotions, these feelings, all these stories from the past come up, all these old habits come to the surface, and you're thinking about, oh, whoa, shit, things are going really bad, and then you just laugh at yourself and just like, ha 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 ha, and then you just laugh at yourself because you're being the observer, but then you realize that you're not neither the observer, neither the watcher, neither the studier. You're just something that does not exist. You're a singularity. You're everywhere and nowhere at the same time. That is how you become invincible. Free of the habit of not controlling my thoughts all the time, removing the negative voices, overcoming limiting beliefs that has subconsciously been holding me back, and having unshakable confidence in myself in achieving my dreams and goals. Very self-explanatory, my love. I'll just show you the things I read from there. So if you want to, you can there. That's the page I just finished reading for you, and those versions are at the bottom there. Oh. Yeah, you can pause the video at this point if you want and read them yourself, write it down, but you can just keep going with the video, and towards the end I'm going to show you where the link to the drive folders are, so you can get a picture of this, and you can write it down for yourself, and maybe you have the same ones, and then you can write it and make it easy for yourself. What is this? Number 6, number 8. Let me get I think I'm missing a page here, so give me a moment. While I'm doing that, I want you to really just pause for a few moments and really really feel what unbalanced bad habits that you already have in your self dimension, in your mental dimension, in your spiritual dimension, in your mental dimension, in your financial, emotional dimension, in your physical dimension, in your financial dimension, in your architect dimension, in your creation dimension, in your transcendence dimension, in your source dimension, in your archangel dimension, in your guardian dimension, in your ascended master dimension, and in your Al-013 dimension of existence. So go ahead, do that. I'm gonna quickly find this other missing page from here. Very smooth production, right? Got it. That is page number 6. Okay, all sorted, guys. Let's go. Apologies, dear beloved, while we get the scripts, the examples out a little bit. So I'm just gonna change the energy a little bit. Ooh. And put this the other way around. Yeah, we got a few more examples, and then I'm gonna share some more story with you. Another bad habit of mine was like free of letting my emotions paralyze me. That was a big one. Free of the habit of not reflecting on the past, seeing what went well and what didn't go well, how I can improve. Free of the habit of not thinking logically about the past to improve by looking at the feedback. Free of the habit of not thinking into the future properly to create solid plans and set goals for the future and reverse engineering them accurately to take consistent action. Free of the habit of being undisciplined. Free of the habit of being too generous and not being more selfish for myself. I shared more stories about that with you. Free of the habit of not taking consistent action and following my routines, habits, and plans towards achieving my dreams and goals. Free of the habit of not tracking my finances, still working on that. Free of the habit of not taking consistent action. Free of the habit of being too soft and not growing some thick skin. Free of the habit of laser focusing and thinking about the problems and issues. That last one is not really an unbalanced habit. It's a pretty good habit to be laser focusing and thinking about the problems and issues and transcending them. I don't know why the fuck that is part of like a oh my, fuck, you know. Oh my. I'll use this thing as an example. When you have all these unbalanced habits and things like that in your subconscious mind, it's like this. It's like this wave of energy coiled up like this, like the serpent. So what you gotta do is, it looks like this. You know, you have this thing. You know, that this luminous being that you are, this colorfully colorless being that you are. And then you have all this energy coiled up inside of you that is blocking out your magnificence, your luminous light from shining. So what you do is you take this thing, I'm just gonna put that down for a second, you unwrap it, you look at yourself objectively, you analyze yourself, you take every strand of all these traumas, everything you have, because they have gathered together, they have become this monster inside of you. You just gotta make love to the monster. kiss it, love it, hug it, fuck it, whatever works for you. But do something different. Remember, normal gets normal. If you're not willing to be strange, if you're not willing to be different, if you're not willing to be odd, if you're not willing to be bizarre, if you're not willing to be different, then you're just still gonna be the same old person, the same old shitty person. Maybe you're not shitty, but I'm just using this kind of language just to put a bit of seriousness in this video. So you can have the power, the force, the courage, the boldness to unwrap your own fucking energy and become free of it. Like that. Now you turn it into a frequency like this. Becomes more powerful. Or you can go a few steps further. You can do this. You can then take all your traumas, all your weaknesses, all of it, you can then wrap it around like this as energy. You can wear it on the outside with honor. You can play with it. You can make some noise, you can make some sounds, you can moan, you can like, oh, yes, oh my God, yes, I'm transcending my old habits, oh, they're becoming luminous, yes, let me smack that, yes, come on. Oh my, fascinating. There you go. You know how mostly like ladies, they like knitting and they create these handkerchiefs and shit like that. By the way, that transcendence system is Genesis template came from Afghanistan from as a gift from one of my relatives. They just sent me this handkerchief and I just used that as a Genesis template to just as an Inception Genesis template to create this system around it. I just like that graphic, that the way the design looked like. So that way I could integrate the energy of like the spiritual center of the universe or the world, which is like Afghanistan in this world. But then you can say that there are no specific centers in the universe. Every point in the universe is its own center. So you can see like when you use your old habits and everything, this energy, and when you're willing to like play and experiment, you just put it around you. And let the energy spin and dance and mix and merge, and it's really just a fun experience. And then you can keep going, you can do that and this and this and that and that. And then you can remember to like, because I had this thing in my pocket, this template I wanted to share with you as an example as well. Think of it like this. Think of that as all your past, present, future in one side, all your bad habits, all your unbalanced habits, all your worst nightmares. And think of that another infinity loop. Think of that as like the future, as where the future, the present, and the past exist there as well. But then you remember this thing in the middle is all that exists. There's moments right now. There is neither the future neither the past, and this energy kind of looks like that. So we can place that thing right in the center, right there. And then we can do something like this. And then we're like, bye bye. You just throw it. And yeah, I'll show you this thing one more time. Why is the lighting so fucked up? There. that is the kind of energy you have within you in terms of your habits. Think of that as all the habits that you already have, the habits that you want to build on this side, and in the middle, that is you, your unity, your centeredness, and all of that. And you're just channeling the energy from your unbalanced habits and channeling it there, so your new habits can be formed. But then you mix and match them. You channel the energy from there to there to there, but in the middle, you're not affected by any of it. You're not affected by your habits. You're not affected by your good habits. You're not affected by your bad habits. You're not affected by your balanced habits. You're not affected by your unbalanced habits. You're just existing in a state of non-existent existence. You're just being a beingness. And then you just let it go. And then you just throw it in the water. Oh, there is that thing I just threw, the disc. And then you just say goodbye to the past and say bye bye. Bye bye, Kiri. I love you. Thank you for the healing. It was fun healing you. It was fun healing all my past traumas, my bad unbalanced habits. You just say bye bye to it. You just say bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Float around. And then to honor them even more, because remember, you're expressing gratitude, appreciation, love, light, and unity for your own bad habits, for your own unbalanced things that you have done, for all your traumas, for all the sadness, suffering that you have caused yourself, to humanity. Before you forgive yourself conditionally and unconditionally, and whatever you call it, you forgive yourself and watch it, your blessing, your abundance, your energy going and healing others in the world. Because when you heal yourself, the world becomes healed, and you're just giving, and the more you heal yourself, the more everybody around you heals, and you're just basically blooming, and it's springtime and all of that. You just bloom, and the fruits and everything go, and all these beings everywhere around you get the benefit, and everybody heals, and we are living in this paradise. And you just like give that a kiss, and you just say thank you all my past, present, future, balanced, unbalanced habits, traumas, unbalanced dynamics, energy dynamics, all sexual traumas, sexual experiences, all of this, all my all my unbalanced self experiences, all my unbalanced spiritual experiences, all my unbalanced mental experiences, all my unbalanced emotional experiences, all my unbalanced physical experiences, all my unbalanced financial experiences, all my unbalanced architect experiences, all my unbalanced creation experiences, all my unbalanced transcendence experiences, all my unbalanced source experiences, all my unbalanced archangel experiences, all my unbalanced guardian experiences, all my unbalanced ascended master experiences, all my unbalanced L013 experiences. Bye bye. Because when I say unbalanced experiences, it's basically like habits and things that you had, then just kiss it and gently say bye bye, like that. There we go. That's the stuff I was just oh my gosh, ah! Where did it go? Did you see that? The little fucking thing, the little butterfly. I'm overly getting excited about butterflies and shit like that. So yeah, that is it really. I think there was a few pages in this book I wanted to share with you that was quite interesting. Yeah. If you look at, say, cycle of thinking and feeling, that's you. You have your feelings, your thoughts, and they create like this field around you. And I haven't read this part of this book yet, but I was going through it before this video, and I saw some diagrams that would be pretty cool for you. Thoughts of the brain plus feelings of the body equals the state of being. Pretty cool, isn't it? This one is cool as well. Survival emotions versus elevated emotions. Emotions are basically habits. If you have a habit, it has a lot of emotional feeling, thought waves attached to it. You know, less matter, more energy, the higher we go. Elevated emotion, survival emotions, and more matter, less energy. You know, like last, compassion. It's very dense, it's very chaotic, but it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Guilt, shame, fear, doubt, again, very dense, very chaotic energy. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just a part of consciousness. There's different levels of consciousness, different levels of awareness that we all go through, that we can experience all the time. Anger, hate, judgment against something. Love, more pure, joyful, unconditional love. It's like the higher you go in terms of your own level of awareness and your level of enlightenment, then the more fun you become. And then we have like the two states of the mind and body. Some examples. You know, it says instead of saying survival versus creation, why not say survival and creation, the two together? Because if we say survival versus creation, then these two energies will be fighting each other. Then your stress will be fighting with homeostasis. And why not say you're in a state of homeostasis while you have some stress going on in your life? Why not say you have a lot of stress going on, but you're still in a state of homeostasis? Why put the verses there? Why put like this team versus that team playing? Why not say this team and that team are playing together and having fun? Because that is one team inside of you. Let's say your left side, that is one team inside of your right side. Contraction and expansion, catabolism and anabolism, anabolism and catabolism. This is unhealth, health, and this is imbalance and order, order and imbalance, breakdown and repair, repair and breakdown, regeneration and degeneration, degeneration and regeneration, love, joy, trust, selfless, fear and anger, fear, sadness, selfish, environment, body, time, no thing, no body, no time, said backward, energy lost, energy created, energy lost. It's the same thing, isn't it? Emergency, growth, repair, open focus, narrow focus, separate, connected, reality beyond senses, reality determined by senses, cause and effect, and causing an effect, all possibilities, limited possibilities, incoherence, coherence, unknown, known, known, unknown. Why not be both of them, this and that, and none of them at the same time? That's what I meant. Like when you reach when you become transcendence itself, you're able to harmonize your energy much better. And yeah, and this one is really important. What I wanted to share with you is like it says the biological model of change. This place is a bit shaky. Familiar past, new future. Basically, familiar past is all your past unbalanced bad habits. Basically, you know, unlearning. When you unlearn your old habits, you're able to relearn new ones. When you're breaking the habit of being yourself, you're able to reinvent a new one. When you basically break the habit of being your old habits, you're able to create new ones. When you're pruning synaptic connections, you're able to sprout new ones. When you're basically in your mind, think of each neuron as becoming like as a habit, and then you go inside of your brain and you actually find that neuron and then cut it off and break it apart, squeeze it, and then blow it with some love. Unfiring and unwiring, firing and wiring, unmemorizing an emotion in the body, reconditioning the body to a new mind emotion, basically like reconditioning your body to learn a new habit, a new way of being. At the same time, you're helping your body to unlearn all patterns of behavior. And the best way to do that is change your environment, change the words you used to speak, change the people you're with, change the way you feel about yourself, about everybody around you. Losing your mind, creating a new one, losing your mind, same thing anyway. Becoming familiar with the old self, becoming familiar with the new self, reprogramming, deprogramming, living in the past, creating a new future, new energy, old energy. Again, those two things already exist inside of you. And you gotta understand that you're both of them and none of them at the same time. They're just tools inside of you that you can use. You don't have to be a certain one certain way. you can be all of it and none of it at the same time. I'll share this, it's pretty nice. Like when we are born, this is our sphere of awareness, like I showed you here. Think of that, like I said, that thing, the diamond is yourself. You know, when we were born, our mind is like pretty much blank. And then as we go, you know, you have like positive and negative experience and everything. But eventually it becomes like that. You become like a full-fledged enlightened being. You have all this field around you. This, depending on your energy, you could have a positive field or a negative field. It doesn't matter. But if you are able to play with energy, then you can transcend it in a way that it doesn't matter if you're feeling angry, sad. Your field is not affected by that, because your energy is reversed. And if you say like, I feel whole, I love my life, I am spontaneous, I feel clear, I trust the universe, I have new habits, I have new habits of being, then your brain is like that. It's like all circles, and the field that you're broadcasting, the energy is coherent, it's clear, it's concise, there's less distortions in it basically. And here, if you say, oh, my back hurts, nobody loves me, I can't sleep, I feel sick, there's not enough time, I don't have enough money, or you say, I have all these old unbalanced habits, they're wrecking my life, then you're basically broadcasting this incoherent, distorted energy into the universe, and the universe is like a mirror, it's just gonna reflect that energy, same energy back to you. So, get that book. Don't get that book, doesn't matter. I haven't read full of it, I just read a few pages from before it, but you know, it's just the essence. I just connected with Dr. Joe Dispenza before this call. I said, hey, when I rewrote the title for this video, like, you know, what are your top 33 unbalanced bad habits that unconsciously and subconsciously govern your beingness? And then I opened that book, I was like, I was talking about habits and stuff, and I went through a few of like diagrams. I was like, that's pretty cool. He was talking about the unconscious, subconscious, like that. I was like, that's a very cool synchronicity. And I was like, hey, Dr. Joe Dispenza, can you guide me in this video, some wisdom? Because apparently you have done a lot of research in that area, and it would be cool for your essence to speak through me, so these people can then use that wisdom and break the pattern of their old behaviors, the old habits, and become a new one. A new one that is like that, as well. But why not be that? You know, we are here, you're both of it at the same time, you know. You're both happy and you're both sad, and you're both sad and happy at the same time. And in that state of paradoxical beingness, you're everything and nothing at the same time. Maybe that is when you will realize what it means to be transcendence, a transcendence. So that is it, my beloveds, my sexy watcher, observer, studier. Thank you for being so drippy and you know, and coming here and sharing this experience with me, and you know, and doing freaky shit, and maybe maybe and all of that. I don't know. Oh my. Thank you, I appreciate your presence. That's the end of the session. So what I want you to do now is, in the comment below, write down the top 5 to 10 things that you absolutely loved and enjoyed about this video, like totally, completely. Whether it was some habits that I shared about myself, or maybe as you're going through it, some new ideas about the habits that you want to develop, the habits that you already have came through. Write it down in the comments, share it with the world, and also write down like the top 5 to 10 things that you, as feedback, as suggestions, and as ideas I could improve and integrate into the next video and my own behavior, and make it better, basically, because I'm always looking for ways to improve. And also make sure you do this. You know, if your finger is not broken from clicking that like button, that subscribe button, then you're not worthy enough to be here. Of course you're worthy, baby. sexy, trippy beingness that you are. But you know, if you don't like this video, just click the dislike button. That's cool too. I like that. At least you're expressing yourself. If you liked it, like it. If you feel like the wisdom I shared and everything, it could be valuable to your friends, to your partner, to your girlfriend, to your co-workers, to your teammates, share it with them. Share it on your social medias, you know, subscribe and all that. And also, in the description below, I'm gonna put 3 links to a Google Drive, to a Dropbox, and Microsoft OneDrive. 3 links to the document. There is gonna be a document that you can open, and then it's gonna be like 13 questions, basically asking you like to write down the top main unbalanced bad habits that you have about each of the dimensions that we spoke about. And then there's going to be enough space there. You can print that, you can download it, save it to your computer, or on Google Drive you can click on the top left on the file and make a copy of it, save it to your own drive, and then you can edit it. You cannot edit the template I'm sharing with you, because that is like the Inception Genesis template, just for you to view only. But you can save it and download it, and then you can download it and print it if you like to write it with pen and paper. I put enough space in each of the columns for you to write your answer, and then you write the version that you're working on now, because it will be like version 1.0 would be the one that you first start with. It could be whichever day that you're taking action on this, and then you come back the next week, the next month, or 2 months later, 3 months later, you do the same thing. You can watch this video again, and then you go back and write down some new unbalanced habit that came through. And also, like, as you're going through the week and everything, when all these unbalanced, all these habits pop into the surface, you recognize them, you become aware of them, write them somewhere, and then put them into that journal. So yeah, this video is part of the Transcendence Singularity Self, architecting, designing, and creating and being your own truest, purest, highest, darkest, and brightest self series. And this is a companion video to the one I did before this one, that was talking about the top 22 balanced good habits of mind that I shared with you, and then as an example I gave you a template. So make sure if you haven't seen that, go back and watch that as well, because the way I've designed them, that it's best to watch them in a sequential order as I'm releasing them on a weekly basis and so on. But the way each video is designed is a standalone module and a standalone transcendence session, wisdom, truth giving lesson, where we're just having fun. Honestly, I'm just chatting with you, just a nice environment, and we're playing, and we're being playful, and we're dancing, and we're being freaky and shit like that. So yeah, well done. Give yourself a clap for watching it till this point. And well done for actually you taking the time to write down your own unbalanced, biased and bad habits. I shared you mine. You can see how I am being naked and pure, and you know that they say that is inside of me is on the outside. It's all there for you, for everybody to see in public. Like my whole ascension in this lifetime, my whole inner ascension, my whole enlightenment process, my whole transcendence process, the way I've been transcending myself. At every stage it has been public in many ways. Honestly, it has been also public. That part of me kind of hated it before. I was like, why is my life so public in this lifetime? I remember my previous ex was saying that, well, why are you sharing everything on public so much? I was like, well, that's part of my choice. It's just part of my architecture, part of my design, part of my creation. But I didn't really understand why up until like 2022. Some fundamental reasons behind it, because in this lifetime I came down here one last time, and the inner ascension, the enlightenment and everything I've been going through, it has been public because I just needed to be at certain consciousness and energy hotspot around Mother Earth, around the world, in Manchester, in London, here, and all of that. So I could be in present at that moment and do certain acting, certain rituals and all of that. If you haven't seen my Self Transcendence show with Royal Anwar, the other YouTube channel I have, I share a lot of videos in there when I was in Market Street. I was doing different dances and movements and roaring and and roaring and howling and meow, meow, and doing this. Ow! because in that state, when I'm roaring, when I'm howling, when I'm meowing, I am transmitting billions, trillions and zillions of bits of information that they would take me millions of years to express in words. That's why it's just the energy that is doing all the talking, that is having fun. So enjoy. Take your enlightenment, take your ascension seriously. Instead of chasing enlightenment, be enlightenment itself. Be the embodiment of enlightenment. Be the embodiment of transcendence. Be the embodiment of intelligent cosmic consciousness. Be the embodiment of pure, unconditional, joyful love. Be the embodiment of compassion. Be the embodiment of wisdom. Be the embodiment of the source itself. Sexy. You're sexy.